Well, the issue is the ontological status of empirical facts that I take from my book, Philosophical Semantics. Peter Strawson suggested that facts are mere pseudo-material correlates of the statement as a whole. Don't ask me what means pseudo-material correlates. Anyway, it is something that is not an arrangement of elements in the world. And if they are pseudo-material correlates, and they are not something in the world. According to him, empirical facts are like events or things. Events or things are not spatio-temporally localizable. One reason for this is that the description of a fact usually begins with a that clause. For instance, I can say the fact that the book is on the table, but not the fact of the book on the table. Conversely, the description of an event typically lacks a that clause. I can say the event of a tsunami in Japan, but not properly the event that there was a tsunami in Japan. This was, in my judgment, an undeserved influential view, maybe because they allow philosophers to speak about truth without committing themselves with the problems generated by its relation with a world of empirical facts. Fits out of the world. My intention here is to summarize my key argument against Strawson's view, regenerating the idea that empirical facts are correlates of true thoughts, namely contingent arrangements of elements in the world, as the correspondence theory of truth held. My argument against Strawson's opposition between facts and events begins by showing that it contains confusion. He treats facts, he also calls states of affairs, situations, as opposite to events. However, every event can be called a fact, but not every fact can be called an event. For instance, I can replace the event of the sinking of the Titanic with the fact of the sinking of the Titanic. But I cannot replace the fact that the White House is in Washington with the event that the White House the event of the White House being in Washington. This is not good. Strawson's opposition also isn't symmetrical. Now, since events can be called facts, it's more reasonable to consider events as particular kinds of facts than to oppose the two. Thus, my proposal is that the word fact is an umbrella term that encompasses situations, states of affairs, as much as events, occurrences, processes, and so on. And the reason for this proposal is that we can call all these things facts, but we cannot call them states of affairs or events. Assuming this, we are free to distinguish two great subclasses of facts. First, static facts. Static facts can be formal, 2 plus 2 is 4, or empirical, the latter when clearly located in space and time. As a whole, static facts do not change while they last. Is the expression. Typically, a static fact is that typical of a static fact is that the relationships between the components do not as a whole change during the period of their existence. They are truth makers of a static kind. They are usually called, with different semantic nuances, states, situations, conditions, circumstances, states of affairs, and so on. The second are the subclass of dynamic facts. These are always empirical. They change while they last. They are defined by changes in the overall relations among their components during their whole existence, so that they have a beginning followed by some kind of development that comes to an end. They are truth makers of a dynamic kind, and usually they are called, with different semantic nuances, events, episodes, occurrences, processes, transformations, and so on. Examples of static facts are my state of poor health, the fact that I'm sitting here, the situation that I'm lying in the bed, the circumstance that the airport is closed, the state of affairs that the Mona Lisa is in the Louvre. Examples of dynamic facts are the events of the explosion of a grenade, the occurrence of the Twin Towers fall, the more extended process of the World War II. We are now able to find the real reason why we use a that clause in the description of facts, but not in the description of events. When we speak of dynamic facts, we avoid a that clause. We can speak about the process of climate change, but not about the process that the climate changes. Differently, static facts are usually described as beginning with that clause. So I can speak about the state of affairs that my book is on the table, or that I am lying on the bed. Also, I can also speak about the state of affairs of my book being on the table and of my lying on the bed. Hence, that clauses seem to have the function of excluding dynamic facts and emphasizing static facts. Finally, since the term fact can be applied to both cases, it inherits the property of being used indifferently, with or without that clause. Indeed, you can say it's a fact that Mount Vesuvius is located near Naples, referring to a state of affairs, as much as it's a fact that Mount Vesuvius has erupted, referring to an event. The relevant conclusion is that by having the broadest scope, the so often vilipended word fact remains the ideal candidate for the role of ultimate truth maker in a correspondence theory of truth. Facts are indeed the universal truth makers.